and welcome to Adam's Fam Anime. I'm John, and today I'm going to be reviewing Dragon Ball Super Chapter 73, Goku vs. Granola. So this chapter doesn't waste any time picking up where we left off in the last chapter, with SS Blue Goku facing off against Granola. In this chapter, we don't get a whole lot in terms of information or exposition, and just as well. We get 12 whole pages of the Goku and Granola fight before any one character mentions a word. And I'm totally okay with this because the artwork in this chapter is quite amazing. So the fight starts off with Goku dodging a volley of ki blasts from Granola, but it shortly moves into a densely packed forest setting, which I gotta say is a really refreshing change of pace. We're typically used to watching our Dragon Ball fights occur either in some desert or some rocky area where the fighting space is very open and clear from obstacles. But when Dragon Ball Super eventually starts back up, I really cannot wait to see this fight in particular be fully fleshed out and animated. It really seems to me like Akira Toriyama and Toyotaru did a really good job carefully choosing panels to keep this fight at a really good pace and to keep it smooth in terms of showing the flow of the fight and also showing Goku and Granola's ability to utilize their surroundings while fighting. Once the fight gets taken out of the forest and back out into the open, we get our first bit of dialogue in the chapter, where Granola reveals that he has the ability to see his opponent's blood flow as well as their movement down to a cellular level. Now, I only recently just got caught up to Dragon Ball Super. I just binge read the last 7 chapters last night. But at some time ago at a family event, my older brother was trying to explain to me about the Cerulean race and their ocular abilities. And when he was done explaining the special uniques or attributes of his eyes, I told him that it sounded just like Sharingan, and this chapter is pretty much going along with that assertion. And on that note, I know that Dragon Ball is not quite like Hunter x Hunter, where they elaborate scientifically and physically how these things are possible, but I am interested to see if there's ever going to be an explanation of how transforming or using Ultra Instinct allows Goku or Vegeta to manipulate their own cells. A vital point is a vital point. It's not like Goku's body innards or his organs are changing around during each transformation. Maybe Toriyama might just decide that it's more related to ki rather than the physical makeup of Goku's body or his quote-unquote pressure points. In any case, the fight continues and we get to see Goku flex using his Super Saiyan Blue mixed with Ultra Instinct. And he has a pretty easy time dodging Granola's attacks until he goes in for a Kamehameha and leaves himself open. Now, the point-blank Kamehameha did connect, however, he traded a blow with Granola, who went for another vital point. Goku was knocked out of his SS Blue form, and Granola was knocked down, but it doesn't seem to really have affected him that much. We then get a little more dialogue from Goku and Granola before Granola uses an attack that is very similar to Moro's, where he sends ki bursting out of the ground to attack his opponent. Now, this is very interesting to me because he gets a comparison to Moro's attack, and in a previous chapter, Maki from the Heater clan said that she thought Granola must be using magic. So this could be maybe some latent ability from his race or his clan that is magic related, but there is no mention on whether it's his own energy or if it's the energy of the planet. Either way, we don't really get an answer, and it could be a while before we do get one, because for the previous chapters, it seems like Granola isn't 100% informed on exactly how to use his abilities or what his abilities are. Anyway, he does seemingly connect the hit with Goku, who's sent into the air, but is able to escape when he locks on to Vegeta's ki signature. Then he uses instant transmission to get to where Vegeta is. Now, Goku and Vegeta happen to be standing in a paw print left behind by a giant ape. Now, this is interesting because I also noticed in a previous chapter that the giant ape who tore off the roof in Granola's flashback had the same scars as Bardock. So, I'm like 99% certain that Bardock, or Goku's father, was present during the destruction of the Cerulean race. But with that being said, it would be incredibly cool or interesting to know that Goku and Vegeta at that time were actually standing in Goku's father's footsteps. Just a side note, but moving on, Vegeta actually fills Goku in on who Granola must be. Goku then rationalizes that he should be able to calm Granola down through a conversation, but likely won't be able to conversate until he actually wins the battle. So he returns to the battlefield, revealing his Ultra Instinct form to Granola, who says that he can't perceive any vital points on Goku whatsoever. Maybe in the future we'll get an explanation as to what that means in terms of him having vital points with Super Saiyan Blue Ultra Instinct, but not having vital points while in perfected Ultra Instinct. Anyways, UI Goku proceeds to beat the piss out of Granola. And during that, we get to see some well-drawn panels and some pretty dope new techniques from Goku. Now, one of these techniques, he actually holds his hand out and stops Granola in midair. Now, it isn't clear if this is a form of telekinesis similar to what Frieza uses, or if he's doing this with his own energy. Personally, I would go for the latter, because I think it'd be better if the telekinesis ability is specific to certain clans or certain races, like whatever the heck Chaozu is and Frieza's race. But I digress, back to the fight. Goku still has Granola suspended in midair with this new ability, and he takes him overhead and throws him. And then with his free hand, he balls it up into a fist and punches in Granola's direction. Again, it's not really clear if these are ki blasts that he is shooting, or if it's similar to the move he used against Kefla in the Tournament of Power, where it's more or less compressed air. Either way, it appears that Granola's been defeated, but Vegeta notes from above that Granola's power level hasn't dropped as much as it should have. He then notices that Granola has an energy reading coming from a far off direction, and not just the slumped over Granola that's sitting right in front of him. A little more dialogue between Goku and Granola, and it's a bit of a run on, but it seems like Granola might just be trying to buy time until Goku's Ultra Instinct has worn down. Goku then tries to extend an olive branch to Granola, which Granola says that he hasn't lost a fight yet, and that in an effort to save energy for Frieza, he split himself into two. And with this technique, Granola calls it both a clone and an illusion. And calling them both that only raises more questions than it answers, but it's possible the technique is very similar to Tien's technique, where if he splits himself into multiple beings, his power and speed is halved. But getting back to the fight, Vegeta notices Granola's real body and tries to inform Goku. But in the time that he turns his head to inform Goku, the real Granola has disappeared. And to be clear, I don't think they've ever elaborated on whether or not this is a form of instant transmission. We saw in an earlier chapter Goku and Vegeta trying to figure out if it was instant transmission, when Goku said that it actually is something quicker. But when the clone disappears, it seems in that instant moved quick enough to get past Vegeta and Goku's guard and land a hit on a vital spot for Goku. Now, with just the tip of his finger, he manages to take Goku out of Ultra Instinct. He then balls up his fist and connects a punch in what is my favorite panel of the chapter. The punch itself is very similar to the 1-inch punch that Bruce Lee used to show off. But the punch is very effective and it sends Goku flying. And we see in a couple panels later that Goku is flat out unconscious, he's not getting back up. And there's a little bit of dialogue though right afterwards that implies that Granola, even at full power, may not have been able to defeat perfected Ultra Instinct Goku without having access to a vital point. Well, the chapter ends with Vegeta interrupting Granola from killing Goku. And they exchange some words, and Vegeta gets pretty disrespectful when talking about the Ceruleans. I'm not quite sure if this is him just feeling himself or if he is strategically trying to get Granola flustered or upset. But the very last panel pretty much has Vegeta declaring victory. The panel artwork emphasizes the shine on the earring that Beerus gave to Vegeta before Whis took him and Goku back to Earth. So I think it's safe to say that we're going to see the results of Vegeta's training with Beerus in the next chapter. And after my review of what happened in the chapter is complete, I usually like to do a rating on the chapter's artwork, the chapter's story, and the chapter's hype. And then I'll use the average for those three ratings to give my overall rating of the chapter. So, in terms of artwork, I'm going to give the chapter a solid 10. This is because there were some really beautiful panels, well-drawn panels that had to do with the fight, especially in the forest area. And as per usual, the character artwork has remained consistent. Although I do have to say there were a couple panels where Vegeta was missing his earring. However, I'm going to overlook that because it was a beautifully drawn chapter and incredibly entertaining. Alright, now in terms of the story, I'm going to have to give it a 6. Now this is because we don't learn a whole lot of new information in this chapter, nor is there a whole lot of relevant dialogue. It's more or less just a fighting chapter, which is fine by me. I love DBZ fights, but in terms of story, we don't progress in the narrative, we don't move forward in any way, shape, or form, so in terms of story, it's going to be a low rating this month. And finally, moving on to hype, I'm going to give the chapter a well-earned 9. And the only reason I'm not giving it a perfect score is because there's a couple panels where it seems like it's just kind of stretching for time. And one example in particular is the page where Granola says he underestimated the Saiyans. He actually repeats that line twice on the same page. But that small thing aside, it's a very hype chapter. We had a very good fight with Goku and Granola, and then we had a hype setup for Vegeta's fight with Granola in the next chapter. So, with all that being said, that leaves my overall rating of the chapter at an 8.3. It was a great chapter, not perfect, but still good, and I can't wait to see what next month's chapter brings us with the Granola and Vegeta fight. In the meantime though, I'll probably make a couple more Dragon Ball related videos. But anyways, thank you for tuning in for my review for chapter 73 of Dragon Ball Super. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Don't forget to comment down below what you think about the chapter, or just to discuss all things Dragon Ball. In any case, I'm John from Adam's Fam Anime, and thank you guys for tuning in.